Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new banner that is coming to the game, the banner of Alhaitham and Xiao, and we're gonna be talking about the weapons and everything about it, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on if this banner is worth it or not. So let's get started. So let's start with the 4 stars. Xinyan, in my opinion, she's really bad. She doesn't have any really good teams to be able to pull about. I got her seats, I didn't have her build, I'm sorry about that, but she's not really that strong. She is more kind of support, but she can be built as a hyper carry, a physical carry, and she's quite fun. But if you are new to the game or you don't want constellations of useless characters or characters that are less useful on some situations, I don't recommend pulling for Xinyan. I think the weapons that he has, there aren't any free-to-play option that is really great. Maybe the one that gives you defense on the forge, but I don't think she's overall really great. If you want to play a 4-star option that is better, you can play Razor on a physical build, so I think that it's the case of her. So let's get into the other 4-star. The other 4-star option that is coming to the banner is Junjin. Junjin is actually really good, but it has some teams where she shines a lot. For example, the normal attack teams, like for example Ito or Joy Mija, where she's super great. I don't have constellations on her. I only have, as you can see, the C1. I want the C2 because it gives you more damage on charge attacks and normal attacks. So that's my way to go with her. I don't highly recommend pulling for her. She's not super great. She has some niche teams where she works really well, as I told you, but on overall teams, she's not that great. I mean, you can play her always, as if you have 1 Geo and you want to play 2 Geos, you can play her, but I don't highly recommend playing her. The weapons that you can play on her are Bonus Sword and things like that. These are quite good weapon choices for her, sorry. But I don't think she is that powerful of a 4-star like, I don't know, Xiaoling, Qinkyu, Fischl, Beidou, Rosaria, Sucrose. So that's my way to go with Junjin. She's decent. Let's leave it to decent. Okay, so she's not on the game right now, but Yao Yao is coming on this banners. It's important. It's a new character. I think she will be decent. It's a Dendro character nonetheless. Dendro characters are great. All of them are quite good, except Colei. She's a bit bad, but it's quite fine. So for me, Yao Yao is decent, but you have to be careful that probably the other 4-star options that we have on the game, or the Dendro DMC, Nahida, are way better than Yao Yao. But if you want a Dendro healer, I mean, I'm gonna pull for it because I want at least the character and I want to test it out with you. So maybe, who knows, it surprises us, but as I see it, I see like a really weak Dendro character that is coming and it can heal your team, so well, I leave it there. So let's get started with the 5-star options. Let's get with Xiao first. It's the run of Xiao. Xiao is decent. I mean, he's a good hyper carry. It's not the best in some situations, but he's a good hyper carry. And if you have Farus and seeds that can buff Xiao damage, it can be a really good choice. Even though if you don't have it, you have other choices like Jin that can be a battery for Xiao ultimate. And Xiao has a really good lenses on free-to-play options. For example, the Star Glider lens that it gives you more damage when killing more enemies, and that types of lens. I mean, you can play almost every lens on him. His lens is not really super good, but it can do the job if you want to pull for his lens. But I think Xiao overall is a good character. It can go with 2 pieces attack percent, which you can farm from Shimenawa, Gladiator, etc. And 2 pieces Viristan Venderer, which is a really good artifact set that you probably have farmed through the game. Or maybe not, who knows, but I think you probably do. And the ultimate of Xiao is really great. It gives you more damage, you can do plunge attacks and hyper carry the teams. You can also play Bene Xiaoling on him with Zhongli, for example, and make Xiao do a lot of damage with the swirls. So I think he's actually pretty good hyper carry. He's not broken, but he's good. Okay, let's talk about Alhaitham. Alhaitham, in my opinion, is like Nahida, but a bit worse. I mean, and that seems like a really bad compensation, but he's not like Keking. He's Dendro, which is super important because he can play a lot of teams, Hyper Bloom, Aggravate teams, like all the teams that you can do with Dendro, you can play on him. Bountiful Bloom, Borgian, etc. You can play all the teams with him, all the teams that are currently super good on the meta. And if you like to 36 star DBs, this character is great. If you don't have Nahida, I recommend pulling for him because he's a really good and strong choice and he will do a lot of damage. And if you have a good 4 pieces Glided Dreams for him, I recommend to pulling for him. If you have Nahida, like it's in my case, I recommend that you wait a bit and wait how he develops in the meta and how he is played, and if you like it, pull for him. But as always, I told you there is no mandatory pulls. I just do recommendations because people like to be recommended, and I do recommendations. This banner, for me, it's really bad because Xinyan is bad. Okay, Junjin, I think it's not that strong, and Yao Yao is not gonna be that strong. It's gonna be decent, but it's not gonna be that strong. I mean, in my case, because I have almost all of the 4-star options in the game that are super great at C6, this banner is good for me because I don't have constellations on Junjin, and I don't have Yao Yao for obvious reasons. My Xinyan is C6 sadly, but that's okay. But back to Alhaitham. For Alhaitham, I mean, if you have Nahida, you might think about it. If you don't have Nahida, I recommend pulling for him. He's gonna be a really good character. He's not gonna be broken. He's gonna be like Xiao on power level, approximately, or maybe a bit better because he's Dendro. The other day, the people asked me if I were to put Alhaitham on a tier list, where do I put him? And I think he's a solid A or B tier. He's decent. He's a good character. I think that on Genshin Impact, luckily we can play almost every character in every team. But in meta and meta slave thinking, I think he's an A or B tier, which we pretend that it's not broken, but it's super great to be on A or B tier because there are units like Xiao on S tier for me that broke the game, but Alhaitham is a good unit that you have to think about the rotation, and I think he's gonna be really fun to play. So yeah, that's my take on the banner of characters. And for weapons, I'm not gonna speak for the 4-star options. I'm gonna speak only for 5-star options because I think the 4-star options always you will be getting them. And I think if you pull on weapon banner, it's for 5-star. If you want to pull on weapon banner for a 4-star, I think it's kind of useless. So I'm just gonna speak about the weapon of Xiao and the weapon of Alhaitham. The weapon of Xiao is good on almost every Lens character. It's good on Raiden Shogun, it's good on Hu Tao, it's good on Xiao, and it's a decent weapon. It's not a broken weapon like a Staff of Homa, but it's a decent weapon. If you want a 5-star option of Lens, I recommend getting it. But as always, I think weapon banners are not really that great to pull off. And the weapon of Alhaitham, I mean, it can be played on other characters, okay, but you want to play it on Alhaitham. So how strong it is? I mean, there's a 4-star option that it's decent on Alhaitham. If you have any of the other 5-star options, they are not that behind on damage from the 5-star option, from his signature weapon, that is his 5-star option. So I think the weapon on Alhaitham, it's not really that good, but if you want to get him, because I mean I have the Joy Mia weapon, I mean I pull for what I want and for what I like. But if you want to go for the weapon, go for it. I don't recommend normally going for weapon banners because they are super cruel with you and they will break you apart if you don't get it on first pull or in the second pull when you lose 2 50-50 in a row. It's quite hard to maintain that, so keep that in mind, please. And yeah, that's all for the weapons. I think, well, one little thing I want to add. The 4-star option that it's on Alhaitham that I recommended on my guide and the pre-analysis video that I made on him, but is the umbrella that is from the last event on Inazuma, so I can highly recommend that 4-star option. Even the iron stink is decent, so if you have any of those, I'd recommend if you get it, put it on him, because they are really good options for him and deal a lot of damage, and they are not that far behind from the other 5-star options. So I think, yeah, that's the way to go with Alhaitham. And that's all for this video. I hope you enjoy it, you make something clear about this new banner that is coming to the game. And yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.